Hello, wonderful people. It's your boy, Dre Day, every day, back with my wonderful co-host.
Bonbon 623.
And today we're making a video talking about our favorite rappers.
Mhm.
Not to mention, this is called Black Nerd Talk.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I have more of a structure to how I want to talk about mine since you kind of be more off the hip.
Mhm.
How about you kind of have your opening thoughts into how you go about picking, or do you even know how you go about picking your favorite rappers up?
No, I think my favorite rappers pick me. Is my camera crooked? Okay. My favorite rappers pick me. I don't really pick them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just more of I just like their music and maybe also know a little bit about them as a person, but not always.
Gotcha. So I guess it would be more about because it kind of gets really intricate when it comes to how it can be talked about. Like, because I talk to a lot of people, and some people are just like, well, I hear music and I don't listen to the words, and I just because I like to dance. So it's
Mhm.
like, do you pick your well, like you said, if your artist pick you, is it a thing like this person's music makes me dance, or this person's music makes me happy, or
Yes.
like it's more of that.
Mhm.
Okay. So who would you say is your three favorite?
Gosh, okay. So Missy Elliott being my first.
Fire.
Um,
So would you say she's your favorite rapper ever?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, that's dope. Okay.
Keep in mind, I haven't like sat down with her entire
Yeah,
discography.
got it right.
So it's not like I like have done a
It's
deep
based on the it's
like,
based on the it's based on like the radio and stuff you hear that comes on the radio, right?
yeah.
Got you. Because Missy, oh, it's funny you say that because I was just talking about how Missy, outside of her hits,
Mm.
when you featured her on something, she was gonna have the best. She's gonna have the best verse on there, or if it's not the best lyrically, she's gonna steal the show. Like her,
What?
she
Yeah.
was just so
If you remember the Super Bowl several years ago, and I think it was Katy Perry that was headlining, and she bought Missy Elliott out, and then it immediately became Missy Elliott, Missy Elliott show, and then the Katy Perry and the Super Bowl was also there too.
right. So yeah, that's just like Missy. Like if you
Mhm.
put Missy on something, that's her show.
Yes, it's like, and also there was football in the background. But
Right. Yeah. There's football happening, but this is Missy. So
yes,
that that
after
that
that,
that answer makes my heart smile. With me being such a hip hop, it's
after that, Ludacris. I really miss him.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing where this is going. You like the big personality raps.
Yes, he both of their music videos are very memorable. They're iconic.
Right.
When you hear the song, you see the music video in your
Music,
head.
yeah.
So I think that might be part of it.
That's for okay, yeah. And the same thing like the same thing like Missy. You put Ludacris on a song if you want to. He's gonna have the best. Now the thing is, with me cutting into it, he will have the best technical rapping verse alongside of just stealing the show from a personality perspective because he has like that game show host voice delivery.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So outside of him taking it from a charismatic level, when you break the lyrics down, he's probably gonna cook your favorite rappers too. So like Ludacris he's definitely in my top 15 favorite rappers of all time.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I
Sweet.
I don't know if I
Yeah.
have like a third
You
that
know, think about it. Let me see if I can guess. By any chance, Busta Rhymes somewhere? Or is that too old school?
no, yeah, I mean, but I don't I would say when it comes to his music videos, for sure, they're all iconic, but I don't necessarily, I never like sat down and listened to
So he's
his records as heavy as the first two.
got you. because that was more, well, Buster
But
was
they're
working. He was working in the era, but with Missy and Ludacris being kind of like right on time with your
Mhm.
childhood and growing up, it's like I can see how it's right on time, and it's like
Yeah.
they might have had more relatable things than Buster, because Buster was in the '90s, and like I said, he had a run through the 2000s,
Mhm.
but he's more old school than them too. So maybe
But
his
he's just as
idea,
iconic with the visuals and
yeah.
his delivery and stuff. You know, I only found out he was Jamaican this year.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
see
explains why
now.
he's able to talk so fast. And I was like, oh, now everything's coming together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, my mutant power is finding out rappers' real names.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I just knew his name was Trevor Smith. I didn't know he was
Oh, it is?
Trevor Smith.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, you know, it never occurred to me, like, surely, yeah, their names aren't Busta Rhymes and Ludacris.
right.
And see. So when I
Chris
find out that they have names,
Ludacris
I'm like,
is
oh yeah, of course they do.
yeah, Ludacris is Chris Bridges. If you hadn't heard him say that.
And Missy's Melissa, right?
Now I hadn't cracked the code on the woman, uh, because I've listened to so many rappers, and it's like I want to clear this up. There's not nothing against the women rappers, but it's just the things that the guys say is more relatable with me being a man. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of see it. That's kind of how I connect with rap through like the words, and so
Mhm.
like the POVs. That's why I dive more heavy into. But like when it comes to my favorite women rappers, Shauna from DTP, which was Ludacris's camp,
Mhm.
MC Light, but it's also the probably the coldest woman rapper I've ever heard. His name Jean Grey. She's like a she she is underground. She didn't really get a big mainstream break, but Jean Grey is don't bother that woman. Don't bother her.
Heard you, heard
But
you. I have to look her up.
look at yeah,
I will say I have a soft spot when it comes to the new people for Corday and Jid.
Bobby and Corday. Okay, Corday and JID got you.
Mhm.
See, so
Those are my little babies.
to me, I could tell that Corday that J. Cole would be his favorite rapper because he sounds like he's from that lineage, and JID sounds like Kendrick. He sounds a lot like overly dedicated Kendrick Lamar. But the thing is, I think I like Corday. I haven't given JID a fair chance, so I won't say
Mm,
how I feel. But it's like when I hear Corday, I mean when I hear Jid, I think of overly dedicated Kendrick Lamar.
got you.
Yeah. So, well, me, my personal favorite five is well, it's crazy because I have a lyrical list and then I have a personal favorite list, and I kind of just combine them. So the
Mhm.
way I talk about it, number one, Lupe Fiasco is just the most amazing rapper that I've ever heard in my life. The guy can tell like five stories simultaneously. He might say the word "the" and it might have 15 different meanings. um, Kendrick Lamar, and even though he's one of the newer, he's older, but he's still newer. And with me being born in '82, those guys that are stuck in the golden era, they always looking at me like, "How's Kendrick Lamar on your list?" I'm like, "Bro, study the music, and you'll see."
Mm,
And you know, those people, those guys specifically act like they're the gatekeepers of rap. And it's like no one gets in or out unless I say so. So yeah, I'm always going back and forth with those guys.
got you.
Number three would be 50 Cent, but that's my personal favorite rapper of all time, just based on mentality. Number four would be Tupac. Um, Tupac was just so. There's no rapper that's ever probably put as much emotion into his music.
And he was a poet.
Yeah, and it was poetic too. But it was like when you listen to a lot of the rappers that you hear, it just kind of sounds like they're talking their lines.
Yeah.
But Tupac was really like pouring like a lot of his emotion into it, as opposed not necessarily being more. It was almost like I said, if you take like Missy and and Ludacris, they put a lot of personality into their raps. What in the world is in that bag? What you got in that bag? But when it's like Tupac, it was like, is there a heaven for a G? Remember me? You know what I'm saying? It was like you just kind of really putting it all into like to translate the message as opposed to decorate it, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? And number five, which is possibly the greatest. If I were to say you kind of strip off all of the rapper tricks, Nas probably has the best writing, the best pen in rap ever. Like as far as just basic storytelling,
Mhm.
uh, acceleration on the style, concepts. Nas is my number five. But yeah, that's my top five of all time. And I got so many different rappers that I like. These days, you'll catch me listening to Freddie Gibbs. Well, actually, so Freddie Gibbs and Larry June are my current favorite rappers. Like right now, like whatever they put out, I'm gonna hear it.
Mhm.
Larry June is more like a vibe, laid back rapper. But he to me, he's kind of like the most mentally refreshing rapper that's out right now. He'll say stuff like, oh, and shout out to my top five I have on a hip hop shirt. You should know that
Mm,
Tupac, Easy E, B.I.G.
cool.
And
Oh,
honestly, B.I.G. might be the best pure rapper ever. He
yeah.
only got 2 albums. But yeah, but like this is my field right here. Like I study rap. And what I connect to it is because they say things that I saw growing up
Mhm.
to the point to where like rap for me it broke the fourth wall. Like I will never forget when Master P said something that's when I seen Dolphin Willie in a Cadillac. He said, Pete, where you going, man? Get in. And that was the Dolphin that lived in my hood that walked around and he called everybody Willie. It didn't matter what your name was, you was Willie when he saw you. Even he saw you, hey yo, Willie, you have some chips, cookies? You got a whole $5? Willie. So when he said that, I seen Dolphin Willie, I was like, why did you make that reference? Maybe he was talking about as I got older, I was like, maybe the Dolphin name was Willie. My thought process was like, if this dude was to see Master P, he would have called him Willie, and Master P's point of reference would be like, maybe his name's Willie. So yeah,
Mhm.
that right there kind of broke a fourth wall for me. And then it's just so much other stuff that I'll take up the whole rest of the video talking. But like for me, yeah, like rap I connect to it based on the words, the stories, and the actual skill sets. So I guess I pick my favorite rappers as opposed to my favorite rapper. Well, it seemed like they pick me based on doing what I like.
Mhm.
Like, hey, this one does what I like. This one does what I like. This one does what I like. So it seems like they pick me, but when I talk to people, apparently I pick them.
Yeah, mine for definitely gets more of an emotional response out of me so far as like this is exciting and I want to dance to this or clean to this or it just kind of changes my mood. Because there's
Has
never
it
been a
ever?
time when a Missy song comes on and then I stay in a funk or whatever.
Right.
Impossible.
Has it ever? Has it ever been like sometimes you've listened to any of your rappers and they just kind of said some stuff that kind of hit home, or do you get that from other genres of music?
No, I guess not. Not for
Looks not for rap.
no.
I
Because I
get
mean
you.
I feel like all of the rappers that I would have listened to or have heard since we've grown up in very different situations. So
Right.
things that they say would be like relatable to me.
I get what you're saying.
I grew up in the suburbs and some of them some of them while they act like they did. But that's
Right.
what they're rapping about.
Which is nothing wrong with that. Like I say it all the time. I wish I could trade my background in and grow up in the suburbs and
Mm.
not have to be paranoid about gunshots or you take me somewhere and I'm always looking around. I will give you this PTSD right now to grow up without mine. So
So I think it's
So
more of like I really like how this sounds. It's pleasing to my ear.
it's right.
The 808s are hitting exactly the way that I like them to. It's coming out of the sound system beautifully.
Got you.
And then occasionally I'll hear a punchline where I'm like, oh, this person's
Oh.
actually pretty nice.
Okay. So with that being said, what's like some lines that just made you go, okay?
So Corday, I can't remember what the song's name is. I'm so embarrassed. But
Um,
his earlier music, he said, I'm a thief in the night, played to Jesus the Christ, better hope he believe in your life. And I was like, oh,
ooh,
oh my God.
ooh, okay. I don't
Better
think I
hope
heard
he
that one.
believe in your life.
Yeah.
And I just held on. I just put that in my back pocket. Because I was like, I don't think I'll ever have a chance to say that to anybody, but I just hope the opportunity comes up one day.
That reminds me of it's funny that Jesus reference, because and like how I liken him to J. Cole, but what actually got me on J. Cole was on a Friday Night Lights mixtape. And what song is that? I think it's called Two Face. He says, I'm playing daddy to another nigga daughter. Don't worry, even Jesus never met his real father. It don't bother me at all. And I was like, ooh, okay. Boy, is that serious about it. And
Yeah.
he was that was that line. It's like when you go from unsure about an artist to sure about him. It's like, yeah, I was sure about him after that particular line.
Oh, you know what? I got to sneak this one in there as an honorable mention.
Who was
Uh,
that?
Comethazine.
Now that's a person I haven't even heard of at all.
Yeah, he's just a little light skinned boy. He looks a little unhinged. And if he ever said he had a body in his basement, I feel like I would believe him. But
Believe it.
also, it could just be the rap persona because when I sat down and watched like an interview with him, he's actually incredibly polite. And he said that
Mhm.
he used to write like lyrical and deep music and stuff, but that's not what people were gravitating towards. So then he kind of just went into the psycho mode and then it was selling. And I see why, because he doesn't make bad music, but it's just kind of like he's funny to me. He looks like evil Jaden Smith. Adorable.
Okay, so I would assume he's newer, but I remember that time when we talked about 21 Savage and you was like 21's new to me and I'm like, damn, 21 came out in 2016, so he's been a while. He's been out for a while, so I guess you wouldn't know when. I'm gonna look that guy up.
Oh, I'm about to look up when, well, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but I want to say that he was on one of the
That double XL
freshman
always
ones,
does.
XSL freshman.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they do one every year. Matter of fact, I think I seen the one for 2023 in the store. I don't know nobody on there.
Right. We was looking at that the other day. Someone was
Yeah,
talking about it, and I was like, I don't know
yeah,
any people. Okay, he was
yeah.
on the 2019.
Okay. So his class was like Lil Baby and the Baby somewhere around when they showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think man, rap is just such an expansive it's such an expansive genre and it's so many subgenres that have not been defined because like when I sit up and I think about the street raps, I think about the West Side Guns, 50 Cents, Freddie Gibbs, 38 Special. But then when I still think about like the you got the mellow weed raps, so you got the Wiz Khalifa's, the Burners, Currencies, the Larry Jones, and then you kind of got like that still kind of I guess what they would call that conscious rap. Odyssey does it. Um, I guess you could put group at one point they kind of had Kendrick Lamar grouped into it, just
Mhm.
kind of talking about the stuff happening in the neighborhoods. Mickey Fax does it. Then you got like the metaphysical rappers like Ab Soul, uh, Lupe Fiasco, Joey Badass at the beginning of his career. So yeah, it's like there's so many different subgenres within rap that just hasn't been defined. And now you have like with the drill scene with the little Dirks and what is that the new drill? It's so many because you had that trap pocket with Gucci and Jeezy and rap has a lot of subgenres,
Yeah.
and it's so expansive, and that's why kind of like when I heard people, they're like, "Oh, well, rap is dead." It's like the radio is dead. Well, from a purist perspective, there was a point in time where in the '90s you would hear songs from you might hear a Master P song, you might hear a Nas song, you might hear a Jay-Z or Tupac song. They played a variety of things, and it's like now it's like, bruh, I can name 200 rappers off the top of my head. The radio will play a certain genre. You'll never hear Odyssey on the radio. You'll
Mm.
never hear Freddie Gibbs. Well, Freddie Gibbs has a deal, but you still won't hear him on the radio. You won't hear Run the Jewels on the radio. You won't hear the Underachievers on the radio. You won't hear Flatbush Zombies on the radio. And that's just not even scratching the surface, So it's a lot of guys. I got a guy from Cool, the guy in New York. He says it's like 6,000 rappers, and I'm like, I'm good with my 200. Because other than that, my plate would be overcapacitated. It's like, wow,
Over encumbered.
yeah.
I really love
So,
the female rappers these days too. I don't know everybody's
are you out of town fucking with your rounds, your box pink, and your?
Booty Hole
Well,
Brown.
I'm sorry, man. Every time I say that to anybody, they laugh. So,
I know people were
I
so
know-
mad about her for saying that, but it's like, is it not true?
so somebody wanted to get super technical, and they say, so your booty hole is actually pink, but the outside of it is brown. And that made me think. I go, technically they're right, because when you get in, but that's going a little bit too deep.
I guess, but then you also have to consider that we're black, so like our booty holes
Right.
gonna look like a white person booty, so it might be brown for a while.
That's what I'm saying. But like when you cut into flesh, like it's all pink no matter what.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So I think that was the thing. So somebody said that, I'm like, well, they got a point. But there's somebody thinking too hard about a record. They shouldn't be thinking that hard
Right.
about
You're not supposed to think about that.
it. And that's another thing with the hip hop discussion, man. You got the people that like thinking, and I will fit into that category. And then you got the people that just want to have fun. It's like, I get it. Like, you two shouldn't be talking about rap from a debate standpoint. But it's
Mhm.
like, yeah, if we're talking about what I like and you talking about what you like, and we're just here to hear that, that's cool. But yeah, it's just so much back and forth between what rap is, what it's supposed to be. Rap makes people move, man. Rap, to me, is the greatest genre that's ever existed. I don't care what nobody says, because it literally has, with the sampling, you
Mhm.
can get that. You can get a song that comes out in 2023, has a sample from the 70s, has a party atmosphere from the 90s, a production from the 2000s, and it still sounds like something new. So you got something that feels old, feels like multiple eras at the same time, and still sounds fresh, because you know what I'm saying. So that's why I love rap so much. It's like, if you want to go energy, you want to go with these rappers here. You want to go kind of more mellow, nonchalant, go with these rappers here. If you want to have something that you sit down and think about, you got these popular rappers here. So that's why I feel like hip hop is just the greatest genre it is, period.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's
even the
constantly transforming too, so they keep
right,
getting more
and,
subgenres under it.
yeah, like you said, and still growing and evolving, and it's just dumping on top of what's already been laid. So yes, the next wave of rappers, you might not like them, but listen to the rappers that you like and how they play with the new sounds. Like Lupe was made a video where he was playing around with AI, putting his voice in AI to see what it came up with. And I
Mhm.
saw peers like, now who would think Lupe Fiasco would use AI? And it's like, do you understand what being an artist is and creating?
Yeah.
He's toying around with it to see what it creates, to
Yeah.
see how it sounds. to see if he wants to incorporate it, because he might make a song this Lupe where he writes the verse and he lets the AI, he's like, it'll be Lupe featuring AI Lupe. Like, because I know how his brains work. He will legit make a song Lupe Fiasco featuring AI Lupe Fiasco and let the AI do the third verse or the second verse. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
Mm,
but yeah, listen to the rappers that you did like and how they play with the new sounds. Because Lupe's played with trap.
yeah,
These rappers, they all play with it. So instead of looking at the, and this is me speaking to anyone watching, instead of looking at the new kids coming through doing stuff that you don't like, pay attention to the artists you do like and see if they're playing with the sound and they're making what you like through the vehicle that the other kids are using that you don't like. So
yeah.
that's another thing that's so beautiful about it.
It's so fascinating how global rap has become to where
It
the
is.
point to where we
Um,
have Nigerian drill coming out, and if you can believe it, Korean drill, which sounds exactly the way you think it would, which means
I
it's not
can't
there
even I
yet.
can't even handle it. So hold on. Are your K-pop people playing around with hip hop sounds? Because it seems like they kind of
Not
mimic hip hop
K-pop, but there
culture.
is K-hip hop and K-rap, which
Okay.
they're
Okay.
pretty much on
I
their
got okay. K hip hop. Okay.
in which there's a
Gotcha.
group called Yox, YOX, Year of the
Mhm.
Ox, that we absolutely love. And I'm pretty sure they're Korean Americans.
Right.
And their body of work is so it takes like both of the worlds, right? So their experience of growing up in like Koreatown or something like that in
And
America,
then coming over here and
but
kind
then
of
they
weighing.
incorporate their culture into it. So they're not up here talking like they was up here banging and doing this, that, and the third, because they weren't.
Right.
They
Right.
talk a lot about like their food staples and what it was like growing up as Koreans in America. And
Oh, okay.
something that makes sense.
Right.
Because I
Is
don't
that
like
related?
because we do have some K hip hop artists that just here's the sound that they like. They used to listen to 50, like Wu-Tang, whatever, whatever. And so then they take that and act like they too was on the streets of New York. No,
Right.
you're from the mean streets of Busan and
Right.
I like it. Okay. So
Okay.
but
So let me ask you this. I would assume that with you listening to the radio, you're not much of an album person.
oh, I don't listen to the radio. I just stream everything.
Well, yeah, my brain is so I had to rewire my brain, but
Mhm.
today I would call today like a playlist era, which for me registers as a radio type thing. So just a random assortment of songs that are
Okay.
not shooting towards the same idea. But with
Yeah.
that being said, you're not much of an album person. You more of a just pick a song, add it to this playlist, and go about my day. Or do
Yeah,
you do
occasionally so I'll usually put on like one of those pre-made like Spotify playlists or whatever. And if I
mhm,
keep hearing the same artist enough where I keep vibing with their music, then I'll reach back and go and sit with their album.
okay? Does Missy or Ludacris have an album that you really say like, hey, this is the one right here?
I
Or
I don't know. We sat
um,
down and listened to Ludacris's discography a few months back for the first time because I hadn't actually done that before. But I
back
think
for the
the one that
back for the
resonated the most with me that I remember the most was Chicken and Beer.
chicken beer? Okay, that's a good pick for his best work.
Mhm.
But my favorite is Ludaversal that dropped in 2015, and I think Chicken and Beer would be top three. My first, Ludaversal, second would be 1.21 gigawatts, and I believe Chicken and Beer is my number three favorite. So
Mm,
yeah, that's where he was kind of like everything that he was and is today. You can find some of that in Chicken and Beer.
yeah.
What about Missy? You didn't have a Missy one?
I don't know what any of those songs that like stand out on my brain, what album that came from.
Oh, okay. So you never really sat with the Missy joint.
Mm-mm.
Maybe that's coming up since you said you recently sat with a Ludacris. Maybe you just hadn't got around to sitting with Missy.
I think that's one of the things is all of those songs that we grew up, it was just kind of like those singles. But I
Right.
never like, unless my mom bought the album, I never heard the album in its entirety to know what else was going
Right.
on. And then I
Right.
just haven't spun back for it yet. But now that you said that, I do need to sit with all of Missy's work.
Right. Yeah. Because you might find more stuff you like. Cause see what for me, I'm opposite of like a lot of people who, cause see, the funny thing about it is me being such a hip hop fan, I'm not the biggest fan of going to shows because they're going to be performing the songs that that made the record sell. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So, and me, I'm the guy that's like, yeah, that radio record's cool, but I like number 7, or I like number 10, or I like number. So I always like the deep album cuts
Yeah, the B
better
side.
than, yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, that's why it's like, man, I go to a show. Like I went to a Lupe show, ended up getting in free, and I like Lupe's radio records, but I really like Lupe for his deep, esoteric, brainy stuff, and he's telling the story that has mixed some occult with some video game stuff, with some history and it's like he literally takes all of the worlds that we kind of like and put them together. Like
Mm.
he'll make a he perfect example of this on a simple level. He has a song called uh Double Burger with Cheese, and that way he took the movie South Central, Minister Society, Boys in the Hood, uh those, and he told the story as if all of those characters were all in the same movie, and this stuff was happening all in probably a street over.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You got Doughboy interacting with probably Kane, you know what I'm saying? And that's Boys in the Hood to Minister Society. And it was like, it was just so dope. But that's what he does on a grandiose scale. Like he'll take a anime character and put him next to Solid Snake, and they'll be driving in Optimus Prime. You know, he does a lot of that stuff. Like when you sit down and listen to Lupe, it's like, bro, this dude's just a mad scientist, a genius, but it's so imaginative and playful. And you know, it is brainy, man. It'll be smart too. He treats you like you're the smartest person in the room. Like, what do you say? It's hard being a Lupe fan. Got to go to Harvard to be a Lupe stan. You know. But yeah, man. So that's why I love Lupe. Like, it's just like, bro, I don't know where this roller coaster's gonna go.
Hmm.
You know. So, but yeah, I connect with stuff that's gonna capture my imagination. Or like recently, Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, where he made a whole album about like facing deep rooted traumas and actually healing it, and not opposed to just acknowledging it, talking about cheating on his wife, talking about being full, having an ego, talking about his family getting molested, or his mom getting molested, and her thinking he got molested, talking about having a dealing with the transition of my my uncle, what do you say? My auntie is a man now. So the transgender, dealing with that before it turned into a social media, you know what I'm saying? Before it was a phenomenon on social media. So just talking about a lot of touchy stuff that's just real. And it's like, okay, let's move away from the money and the cars and the women. And it's like, I'm fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I like about rap, man. You can just get so much from it, man. It's almost like the library. You know, you go here, this section of books, metaphysical section of books, how to make money section of books, the comic books. It's like rap is like that for me.
Yeah.
You know,
I
I
do
think.
think it's struggling these days, though, particularly
Uh,
when it comes to people being able to sell out their tours and whatnot.
I think it's a matter of the oversaturation.
Maybe.
You know, kind of like how we talked about the video game thing. It's like it's so hard to cover tread new ground, and also the overexposure with social media. Like what used to make rap exciting is like, man, I don't know when the next time I'm gonna see Michael Jackson on TV. You know, we have to wait for it on TV as opposed I just pick up my phone and you can see what your favorite artist is doing right now because they're live streaming, or and it's like, why would I come see you at your show? It's like I know you. I can wake up in the middle of the night, look at your page, and see what you did yesterday.
Mhm.
So I think that yeah, if they kind of could break away from, that's why I think like Kendrick Lamar will never have that problem because he's so private that it's like you look at social media, there's nothing there. So
Mhm.
yeah, you want to come see. The same thing with like Jay-Z. It's like, yeah, I can't see what's going on. Let me go see him.
Mhm.
But yeah, we got like 3 minutes left, and I could have went 16 more hours. But yeah, man, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. What's the reason why you like rappers? Are you the dance type? Do you like to clean to it? Do you like to do the deep think listens? Or is it the energy? Like does it rap get your shoulders going and all of that stuff?
Because there are some
Sleep.
rappers that are great for exercise music.
That's the street rappers for me.
Hmm.
When rappers be like, I gotta get this money, make this money, take this money. Ain't no way you can take this. For me, that's good workout music. Because outside of just, it's like, let's get it.
Yeah.
Like I can translate that thought to like, yeah, I'm in the gym getting it.
So
You
let
know,
us know which categories work for you and when.
right. And if you're an album person or a singles playlist person,
Yes.
right. Well, that's been this episode of Black Nerd Talk. We will see you again in 2 weeks.
To the peace.